All right, well, it is 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock for Catherine, and whatever time it is for everybody else. So we just want
Let's
to
do
welcome,
this.
yeah, that's right. Let's do this. We want to welcome everybody to our webinar today. If you have not found it already, there is a chat window. I think it's to the top left for you. If you click inside that chat window, let us know where you are from and what you teach. That would be awesome. And you're gonna have to pardon our yawns this morning. Like I said, it's a little early for us, so we'll be all right. Um, in the chat window, there is a little blue bar that has a drop down. Just make sure that in that drop down, you choose all panelists and attendees. That way, all of us can see all of our comments that we're going to be making. Speaking of comments, the chat window is a great place for you to just leave comments, ideas, something we say is super exciting to you. Put it in there. Just let us know how excited you are about what we just said, or something like that. If you have questions, those go into the Q&A box, and then Catherine and I will make sure that we answer those questions as best we can and as quick as we can. We will have designated times throughout the webinar where we will answer questions if we don't answer them right away. So please be aware of that. Djibouti, East Africa. That's a new one. You haven't had
Wow,
anybody
1
there?
p.m.
Very cool. So that's awesome. We are also broadcasting this live on our YouTube channel. So if you want to watch this video over and over and over again, you can certainly do that. It will just be as soon as this webinar is over. Usually takes half an hour to an hour or so for the video to process and actually show up on our channel. But the video of this webinar will be there. So, again, you can feel free to watch it again or share it with other people that you may need to share it with. And then let's see what else. This is not a getting started with Book Creator webinar. So I always like to kind of preface our webinar by saying that we will not be going into every feature of Book Creator. We will show a few features here and there, but our main goal today is to talk about using Book Creator in the home learning, remote learning situation that a lot of us find ourselves in. So we're going to talk about that, answer your questions, and we're going to get on with our stuff here. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to make sure you get to the right tab, which is this one. And we're going to go ahead and tell us who you are. And let's see if this does it this time. In YouTube, for whatever reason, my share window, it's always stuck to the top right, and it covers up our menu bar. And I don't know why it does that, but oh well. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this book. Go single pages because I like that look a little bit better for this. All right, Catherine, tell us who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Catherine Cappiello. I'm on the school partnerships team. I'm originally from California, but I live in Chicago. You can follow us. I put it in the chat. You can follow me at bookcreator_cat. I'm a former teacher myself. I've taught kinder all the way through high school, different populations of students, and I'm here to support you with integrating this into your curriculum or brainstorming any ideas for how you would use this in your classroom or your virtual classroom. So do not hesitate to reach out. You can also email me, Catherine@bookcreator.com, and I can help with you with that too. Happy to be here.
Awesome. And I'm John Smith. I am the Teacher Success Manager here at Book Creator. I am the iPod teacher on Twitter, and johnsmith@bookcreator.com is my email. I taught special ed for 12 years. I was a technology integration specialist for 7. And now as a Teacher Success Manager, I get to do lots of webinars, trainings, conferences when we did that sort of thing. Speaking and sales, with a little bit of everything. So I'm excited everybody's here today. I'm married. I've got 3 children, 9, 6, and 3. And I love golf and clean cars. So those of you that are coming to us from overseas are probably not going to be able to get a car wash. But if you want to, if you're anywhere near Ohio, which is where I am at, then feel free to stop by, and I'm happy to certainly give you a car wash. All right. So, Catherine, why are we here today, and what are we going to do?
Yes. So why are we here? There are very uncertain times right now, and a lot of us are either still in school, on summer break. I'm not sure how other areas work their school schedule, but some of you are back in school, so forth. But there is some type of virtual learning going on right now. So we're here to work together to figure out how can we use Book Creator as a remote learning tool, or for right now in the classroom, or when we come back to school in the fall. A little bit of what we're going to jump into today. We're going to start off by just showing you how to access Book Creator. So how you would sign in if you haven't done so before, and how you would get your students set up virtually. We're going to look at some resources we have, share with you where you can find these. There is a 90-day collaboration trial we're offering right now. So we'll show you what collaboration is, and then how to activate that, how to use that with your students, show you how to provide your students with real-time feedback at this time, because we do want to give them some type of sort of community during this time. So show you how to do that. So there's some ideas on how to motivate students, how Book Creator can be useful for this. My favorite part of the webinar is towards the end when we hear from your ideas. So as we're going through this, or things that you've already done in the past or you're planning to do, just start thinking about how would you use us in the remote learning classroom, and you're going to share those out and we'll compile this together. Then we'll jump into templates. I'm sure some of you are thinking, hey, I want to create this for my students. How would I create this? How would I share it with them? And how would they go from there? Sure, we'll do that. And at the end, we're going to answer any overarching questions and answers. Just like John said, put your questions in the Q&A box. You can also in the chat put some comments as we're going through, but any overarching ones you can save to the end as well. We're happy to help. I'm not sure if John said this already, but remember, this is not a whole getting starting webinar. So there's going to be some things that you might see and you might be confused about if you haven't used Book Creator before, or if you're not too familiar with it. So make sure to also enroll in that getting started with Book Creator, because John does a wonderful job, a deep dive into all of those features too. So today is just focus on home learning. And then, like I said, it's.
I think.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay.
No, you're good. Like I said, it is a scary time for our students, for our parents and our educators, and especially those that are also parents and educators right now. So, but we can work together through collaborating, and we can really hopefully get through this together.
All right. Whoops, I hit the button too many times. So we are going to talk a little bit now about how to get signed into Book Creator and what to do. So Catherine, take it away.
Yes. So you'll notice that we're using Book Creator as a presentation tool right now. So it's one option you could use that. I'm going to share this book with you later today, along with the recording. Once you go in here, you can click on that link, or I'll also put it in the chat box, but you're going to go to app.bookcreator.com. And this is where you would sign in. You'll notice here that there are two sign-in buttons. There's a student sign-in button and a teacher sign-in button. They are side by side, so just be clear to always click on the teacher button. You don't want to sign as a student, and you definitely don't want your students signing in with teachers, or signing in as a teacher, because of our private policy and just keeping it safe. In the teacher area, there's 4 ways you can sign in. One is with Google. So single sign-on, one's with Microsoft, another's with your email that's associated with your school site. So make sure you use something that's associated with school, or you can sign in with Clever. When you sign in, it's going to prompt you to, if you haven't created an account, it'll prompt you to answer some questions, and then boom, you're going to be right into your account. On your account, you're going to be it's going to take you into your teacher dashboard. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to click on create a library. And we'll show you this in a few minutes. When you click on create a library, think of it as you're creating a classroom for your students to join. There's going to be a code that you can share with them. So you'll be clicking on that to invite them into your classroom or your library, or there are QR codes if that's easiest for your students too. So you're going to take that, share that with your students. Then they're also going to go to app.bookcreator.com and click on student sign in. So same page, student sign in, they can sign in with 4 ways: Google, Office, like I said, the QR code if you provide them with that option, or Clever. Once they get in, it's going to take them to a page that says, what is your teacher's library code? And that will take them right to your library, or I like to say it like a classroom. So there's no student rostering, which is one of my favorite things, because it's so simple for students to get started virtually, or even in the classroom too. It takes a lot of heavy lifting off you and your tech team.
All right. And just again, a quick reminder that you are always teachers no matter what. I know Catherine said this, but I can't stress this enough. You are always going to sign in with the teacher tab. Do not sign in with the student tab. And then students are always students. So please make them sign in as students. Again, we've worked very hard with privacy. And when students by fault or by accident sign in as teachers, it violates all those privacy agreements that we've worked so hard for. So please make sure that your students sign in as students and make sure you always sign in as a teacher. All right. And then, like Catherine said, when you create your first library, when you create your account, it's going to ask you a few questions. What do you teach? What's your grade level? And then it's going to ask you to create your first library. And you're just going to give it a name for now. It doesn't really matter. You can always change it later. But you're going to give it a name. And then you're going to see something that looks very similar to this, minus all the books. All right. It's just going to be an empty library. And for right now, we're going to skip past that. And what I need everybody to do is click on this hamburger menu to the top left. You're going to click on that. And when you click on the hamburger menu, it's going to take you to your teacher dashboard. And your teacher dashboard is where your libraries live. And like Catherine said, you can think of your libraries as a classroom. You can think of them as a small group, individual students. It just depends on how many books and libraries you have. So anywhere from 40 free books in one free library to 1,000 paid books and paid libraries. So it just depends on your plan. But everybody will have a teacher dashboard. And again, your libraries here is where those will live. And you will see, excuse me, that you have one library here that says My Books, and it is locked. That locked icon is what it's your private. I guess the best way to think about this is your private library. It's a place for you to try things out without fear of students joining your library. You don't need to worry about sharing books from here. It's just your place, your safe space to test things out. And then all of the other libraries that you create, again, from one free all the way up to unlimited libraries, will be over here on the right and then underneath. As you can see, I've got quite a few libraries. If you ever need to create a new library, this is where you're going to do that. You're going to click the Create button, and you're going to be able to add a new name and check some settings here, and you'll be able to create your library. The next section underneath is the Shared With Me section. And this is where you, as a teacher, are able to join other libraries. So if you have a teacher friend who created a library and they want you to see it, that's where you can go. And this is where your students will join libraries as well. They can join your library, they can join multiple libraries from other teachers. This is where that will happen. All right, and all they have to do, and all you would have to do to join somebody else's library is click on right here where it says join a library. You're going to enter a code, and that's where you're going to be able to join a library. All right. The other thing I wanted to share in this teacher dashboard area, and I know we'll talk about this again in just a minute, just to reiterate this, but there is a resources tab here. And the resources tab is really great because there are books written by students and teachers in all grade levels as samples for you to check out and see, if gives you some ideas. And then there are resources by subject. So you'll see books written by just about every subject you can think of, and just really cool ways to use Book Creator in ways that you may not have thought about, right? Like I love the PE examples, being able to use Book Creator as a fitness journal, things like that. So there's a lot of great ideas in there. And then if you scroll down even further, there is a section of books that were written by our Book Creator ambassadors. And these books are amazing. We have them on all kinds of subjects, from supporting language learners to differentiated instruction to reading responses, formative assessment, you name it. We've got a book written by our ambassadors about a topic. And again, these are beautiful books, well written, very nicely designed. Highly recommend you check that out. And then we also have our Facebook group, some PD templates and plans, and then our Getting Started with Chrome section. I can't tell you how many times a day I go here because it's a bunch. I know Catherine's the same way. Somebody asks a question, we go to our support page and we find articles that are written in step-by-step directions with nice videos and photos to help you truly understand how to use each and every piece of Book Creator. So if you get stuck, that is a great place to go. It's also a great place to send kids. If you want to teach kids how to use the camera or something like that, send them the article on camera and let them learn. It's a great way to go. And then we also, again, have our free weekly webinars. So we have a lot of great webinars coming up this month in June. So definitely want you to check those out. All right, so back to our book. We're going to go. Oh, I did want to talk about collaboration. So collaboration is another feature that we have with our paid plans. However, right now we are giving collaboration away for free to everyone for 90 days. So this is really awesome. Again, normally part of our paid plan, but giving it away for 90 days for free. And here's how you would do that. So in your library, you would create a book. So you click new book and create a book. Once you have your book made, oh, excuse me. I was fighting it. I was fighting that one off. I thought I could get through it. All right, I couldn't. So right here, under our book, there is a share button. And if I click the share button, there's an option here to collaborate. And so when I click on collaborate, you have a couple of options. Now, it used to be that we only had one, and that option was everybody that was in your library had the ability to collaborate on a book if you turn that on. And that was where it would say everyone in the library. But now, a few weeks ago, we added a new button that allows you to click change, and it allows you to choose which students you want to be in that book. So you can selectively choose who gets to collaborate on a book. So this is a really great feature. I love using this, and I love picking and choosing which people can collaborate or not. Now, this time we're just going to hit start collaboration, and we're going to allow everybody, which is really just Catherine at this point. We're going to allow Catherine to join in and collaborate on this book. All right, so that is the collaboration feature. So again, the collaboration feature is completely separate from the actual free version of Book Creator. I get a lot of people that get confused about this. I just got an email the other day from a teacher saying, you know, I've only got 30 books in my 40 book trial. When that ends in 50 days, you know, what happens to all my books? That's not the case. So your 40 free books will always be 40 free books. It's not a trial. It's our free plan. So you always have those active books. Just be aware of that. The collaboration is the trial that we are giving away. So please just be aware of that. And then on the next page, we have this section here for guidance for home learning. And excuse me. And so if you click on the little bug, it will take you here to this page. And we've got some directions here to join our upcoming webinars. We've got our teacher set up. So if you're a teacher, there's step-by-step directions along with a video showing you how to get into Book Creator and how to join a library, get the library code, how to start collaboration. Great stuff there. And then we have a section on parents and students. And so, excuse me, we have a video made by Ruby. It's very nicely done. So great job to Ruby. And this is for parents and students and how to get yourselves into Book Creator. Now, it's a little, I don't want to say deceiving, but it's a little deceiving in the sense that we don't have parent and student setups in the traditional sense. Everything is based on the teacher account. So the teacher creates the account, teacher invites the students, students join teacher library. There is no separate parent account or separate student account. But we put this in here because we really want parents to be able to learn how to join libraries with their students so that they can help their students create books and answer questions that their teachers may have, just opening up that communication between parents and students and teachers. All right, so that is our home learning section. All right, and Catherine, tell us a little bit about Book Creator in every subject.
Yeah, so just like John had shown a little bit ago, that Book Creator, you can search for the resources, and you notice that it can be used for any subject, any grade level. I know our name kind of gives it away as probably being an ELA app, but it definitely can be used across the board. Like I said, I've taught kinder through high school, and I can definitely promise you that there are so many resources across the board. So make sure to check out that resource page. That link is there as well. And you can really dig into some student examples.
All right. So at this point, we're going to stop and we're going to answer any questions that we may have. Catherine, do you have any questions sitting out there?
Nope. I think we are good to go.
All right, and I'm looking over here on YouTube, and I don't see anything on YouTube. So I think we're good. We're going to keep moving on. So here we are today. How can Book Creator help us, right? This is why we are here. So we think the Book Creator can help specifically in 3 ways. And the first way, excuse me, is collaboration. Collaboration is a big piece of education. Collaboration is a big piece of just work in general. And even more so now that we are not in the same physical space as we may have been in the past. So, working together is hugely important. And so, we've done a couple of things that really have highlighted the collaboration feature of Book Creator. And one of them is this project over here called the Twema Projects. And I actually fixed the link, Catherine. So, I had a
Oh,
broken
yay.
link. I had a broken link in this book. So there's a blog post about a project that I did called the Twema Projects, and the basic idea behind the Twema Project was I was looking for one classroom from every state and country in the world to come together to write a book. And super ambitious, but I was like, hey, let's see what happens. And after a couple weeks, we had 38 classrooms from 27 different countries come together to write a book in together. And so it was amazing. It was a poetry book about where we lived, and I loved it. It was such a great project. And it was so, uh, the teachers and students loved it so much that we are actually up to our 9th version of the Twema project right now. So I'm going to show this to you, even though I don't want you to join this one at this point, because the Twema 9 project is completed as of a couple days ago. But our 9th project was all about traditions. So with our Twema projects, we try to find, themes that are worldwide, that are cross-curricular, things that we can use in any subject, and we talk about in any grade level. And so we all come together to write a book, and then we publish it, and we have these great Twema projects. So Twema 10 will be starting sometime soon, hopefully maybe in the next month or two. But Twema 10 will be our 10th anniversary of the Twema projects, and I'm really excited about it. I hope it goes just super huge, and I hope everybody joins in and helps us make this amazing book. So keep your eye open for Twema 10. Now, the reason I talk about this is not because I think you need to go from 0 to global collaboration project, if you've never done something like that. But I just wanted to highlight a couple of cool ideas for using collaboration with your students. And whether it's you collaborating with students, students collaborating with students, or you collaborating with a teacher across the city or across the state, it can start small and it can get big. So I just want you to think about doing something collaboratively with your students, because it's really, really cool. And then Book Creator has some really awesome collaboration tools. And so Catherine and I are going to share with you these collaboration tools. And so I just wanted you to look at this as we demonstrate a little bit of this. So with collaboration turned on, you can see that Catherine and I are both on the same page here. You can see our names and our avatars pop up. And just like in Google style collaboration, we can both work on the same page at the same time. So if I click on the plus button and decide to add maybe a circle or a shape, I can see that Catherine is adding a coffee cup, which we probably both desperately need right at this moment. All right. But you can see that I can add some things here. Maybe I can type my name inside that shape. I can resize the shape and move it around. As you can see, Catherine's adding a speech bubble. She added a Bitmoji. I fixed my Bitmoji link so I can bring my Bitmojis back in, right? It's like, yay, I can bring my Bitmojis into my book. Life is good now. So there's
Yay.
a lot of good things that you can do in collaboration. And again, you can work all together at the same time on the same page. You can work in the same book on different pages. You can work in the same book at different times on together, right? So there's a lot of great things you can do with collaboration. Now, there is no revision history in the collaboration feature, so I just want you to be aware of that. I always like to be honest about this. So if somebody goes in and I delete a piece of the page, Catherine cannot undo that. Okay, I can undo that and bring it back. But if I click and delete this and then leave the page, then it's stuck and it's gone. Okay, so I just want to caution you about that, because sometimes freaks teachers out a little bit. If that freaks you out a little bit, the best thing then is to make everybody make their own page somewhere else, like in the library, make their own page separate, and then you can combine those at the end. But you can still do some kind of collaboration that way. So anyway, I love collaboration. I use collaboration all the time, whether it's at conferences where everybody makes a book together, or we've been doing these one book, 1 hour projects. So pay attention to our June webinar schedule. So if you're interested in that, we do have a 1 book, 1 hour project coming up this month. So definitely check it out. But these are really nice ways that you can work together and collaborate on the same book. All right.
You have a great question.
Excellent. I saw a question. What is the question? Let's see here. Can students choose who they collaborate with? How do they do that? So Teresa, great question here. So by default, the teacher has the ability to turn on collaboration for a book. Okay. Now we did just add a new feature. So if you go up to the settings icon at the top right and you click on the gear, one of the options then is allow students to turn on collaboration. This is kind of you're either for it or you're against it. There really isn't much in between on this one. So some teachers love it because they love giving students the power to turn on collaboration and let others join their books. Some teachers don't like it because then they risk the chance of having others do the work for other students. It's totally up to you. I've seen it work in both instances. So by default, this is turned on. If this scares you, click the blue button and turn it off so that they do not have that ability. But that is a great question, Teresa. All right. And moving on, I don't see any other questions. So let's keep going on to the second way that we think the book creator can really help with learning, and that is through communication. So right now, communicating with our students, if we're teachers, communicating with students and parents is very important. And same thing for students. It's very important to communicate with your parents and teachers. And parents, it's very important to communicate with teachers and students. So communication is huge. And one of the questions that we get a lot is, how can I leave comments for student work in the book? All right. And the answer to that is in a different kind of way than you might be expecting. We do not have a real-time Google style collaboration we don't have a real-time commenting feature like Google where you highlight some text and over off to the side, you can leave your comments. But what we do have is teachers who are getting very crafty, right? And teachers who are finding ways to kind of hack the system to work for their benefit. So when I click the plus button, my favorite is shapes. And so I'm going to click on shapes. And what teachers are doing is they'll start leaving feedback and comments in shapes. And then they'll resize it. And then they'll take that and put it way over here off to the side. And now I have a feedback box. So student has work on the page. Over here, they have a feedback box, and I can tell them what they need to fix or what went really well. So I love using the feedback box. Catherine loves using emojis to leave feedback for her students. And so she's got the emoji button, and then maybe she'll add like a comic bubble or something, and then she can leave feedback inside the comic bubble. You could also leave Bitmojis, right? So if somebody did a really good job, I can drag down a Bitmoji in here, and I can say, great work on that assignment. Maybe instead of using a comic bubble, maybe I click on the plus button and go to media and use the record button. So if I click the record button and hit start, it gives me a little countdown. Good morning, Catherine. Thank you for your page in this book. I think everything looks great. The only thing I wish maybe you did is maybe add a little more visuals to that page. Start, use recording, and now I can take that audio button and put it right here next to my face. And so now she can see that I'm super excited about what she did, but I have some suggestions for making things a little bit better. So anyway, you could also use the pen tool. So right here, Catherine, if we pretended like there was some text on the page, then she can use the pen tool here to circle and highlight some things that might need improved, right? So there's some great tools that you can use to communicate with your students. Even video is a great way to use it. We had a teacher the other day in one of our webinars talk about how she loves video and audio because she doesn't have to type. She just clicks video, leaves the video for her students, and then she's going full on no type mode, right? She's telling students what to do, and it saves her lots of time from typing. So I think that's also very important. But anyway, these are some great ways that teachers are using Book Creator to communicate with their students. Even just leaving a video for students saying, hey, I miss you. Can't wait to see you in class again. Hope you're doing well. That kind of stuff. Just sending well wishes to your students. Those are some really awesome ideas for using Book Creator. All right. So again, I don't think we have any questions up there.
Doesn't look like it.
Take a water break there for a second. All right, moving on. The third thing that we think Book Creator does that helps with students is it can help with motivation. And there's a couple reasons why. One, Book Creator is easy. All right. It does not take a long time to learn Book Creator, especially if you're a student. I've worked with kids from kindergarten all the way through high school and beyond. And Book Creator is one of those tools that they can learn and pick up on in about 5 minutes flat, right? It doesn't take long for students to click buttons and learn where everything goes. So it's really motivating because it is easy, right? A lot of teachers, a lot of students are scared right now because it's remote learning and it's different, and they don't want to learn anything new, right? Because it's just like, oh gosh, how do we have time? I don't want to put that stress on me or the students, and we certainly understand that. But Book Creator is easy. And like I said, you can learn it fairly quickly. Watch a couple videos, attend a couple webinars, and you're going to be a Book Creator pro. All right. So that helps with motivation. And, motivation just right now in general is rough, right? Because we're all in different situations. Now, Catherine and I work out of our homes all the time. But even for me, motivation gets a little difficult sometimes. I look out the window, and not right now, it's a little too early, but I look out the window and the sun is shining and the golf course is calling me, right? Or the car wash is calling me. So motivation is tough. And it's the same thing for you. It's the same thing for your students. It's the same thing for those parents right now. So keep that in mind when you're looking at implementing tools. You want to find something that is easy, that everybody's going to be excited about. So that's one thing. The second thing is that Book Creator is part of my big story. And so I want to share a little bit about my story and why I felt that Book Creator was super important and how I think it can help your students. So Book Creator, for me, like I said, my story has a start, and it starts with these guys right here. And I know what you're thinking. They're smiling. They don't look so bad. They're happy looking children. But don't let them fool you. My kids were not happy. They were not smiling. And they were not nice, right? They were bad. They had lots of problems. As a matter of fact, these aren't my kids. These are just some random Google kids that I found. But my kids looked nothing like this. All right. So their big problem, though, was that they just didn't care. They didn't care about me. They didn't care about school. But for whatever reason, I was fascinated by the fact that they didn't care about writing. And I wanted to know why that was the case. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I didn't even like writing. Right? So even as a teacher, I didn't like to write as an adult. And so I figured if I could help myself, maybe I could help my students. And so I tried some things, right? I tried the daily writing prompts, and I thought I had cool writing prompts, but the kids didn't think so. So I ended up pulling my hair out because that didn't work. I tried gross writing prompts, like today we're going to pretend like we're dogs. We're going to write about the day in the life of a dog. And, you wake up, you lick your butt, what happens next, right? And the kids were like throwing up in the back of the classroom. That didn't work. So then I tried, to appeal to their stomachs. I thought if I talked about food, then that would help because everybody likes food. And I was wrong again. So I felt like this boxer. I felt completely knocked out. I felt like a failure. I wanted to quit my job. I wasn't sure what to do. So I went to the teacher store, right, which is what we all do when we need the answers. And there it was, ironically, back there in the left-hand corner next to the Advil, the holy grail of writing, the 730 journal prompts, 2 for every day of the year. I was so pumped, so excited. Went back to my class. As you can see, I was excited there. The kids, they started eye rolling, right? They weren't excited. Then we've got angry Roger Federer down here. The kids were just so mad at me. They hated every single writing prompt, all of them. I tried. So then I started thinking about things a little bit differently. Maybe it wasn't the writing prompts. Maybe there were some deeper issues involved with these students and why they didn't like things. So I started thinking about this, and I came up with 3 reasons why I think kids don't like school or they don't like writing specifically. And the first is that they come into school, they do all of this work, and then they turn their work into you. right? The audience of one. And for these kids, a lot of whom have 10,000 YouTube followers before we have breakfast, that's not okay, right? These kids have a global audience from a very early age, except when they get to school. And so they hate that. And so I was like, okay, there's one, right? There's one reason. The second is that even in 2020, we still don't want our students to collaborate, right? We don't ask them to work together. We ask them to keep their desks apart. Well, that has a whole different meaning now, but we ask them to keep their desks apart. Don't talk to your neighbor. Don't work together. But these kids work together all the time, whether they're producing videos and putting them online, or working together in an online game, or whatever. These kids are collaborating all the time, just not in school. And then the last piece that I realized was that these students, when they graduate, they're not leaving anything behind, right? There's no legacy. There may be gum under the desk, but that's it, right? There's nothing that's left behind, no work that's going to benefit anybody else. And so that stinks, right? And the kids have figured this out. And so my life was still kind of a mess until I found Book Creator. And then it changed me and it changed my students forever. And so for the first time, we were able to take our work and publish it online. And so for my students, the ability then to take their work and publish it online made a huge difference in motivation, because instead of just me, their boring old teacher, reading their work, people from around the world were reading their work and sending me emails, tweeting to me, things like that, telling me how awesome it was, telling me to leave feedback, tell the kids. It was so motivational. So I highly encourage you to think about that. Think about audience when you are writing books with your students. All right. So now we're going to go into our favorites section, right? Some great ideas that we have heard from other teachers and share those with you. So Catherine, take it away.
Yeah. So one example that we've seen teachers, especially during remote learning, but this could also be used when we're back in the classroom too, would be read alouds. And you'll get this example too, so you can click on it once you get this example book. And this read aloud, first off, she did contact the publisher and allowed her to use this in Book Creator to take the pictures. So just so you know that, for copyright reasons and stuff like that, you'll see in the front of the page, she put "buy the book here," so it's kind of shouting out the author. I always thought too it'd be really neat if we were able to get a video of the author giving like a little background for the students, a really short clip. That might be really cool for the students to connect with authors during this time too. So you'll notice the first page, she does a video to connect background knowledge that the students have to the book they're going to read. So just like she'd be doing this in the classroom. Then as you go through, she's recorded herself actually reading each page. So if John was to click on that, you'll hear her read the page just like in the classroom.
Over the snow I glide, into woods, frosted, fresh, and white.
Yeah, so you could also, if you needed this translated, you could translate it, put the audio spot there too. You could really do this in so many different ways. Then at the bottom of the page, she has an activity, an extension activity. So the students click there. It's going to take them to another activity to really push those critical thinking skills. Great option to use if, let's say, you have anchor text as a grade level team. You could all split those up and create a specific read aloud. Not only could this be used for virtual learning, but you could have this as a bank of resources. With this too, your students don't even need to sign in with Book Creator. You share that link to them since this book is published. They can even read this on a phone, which I like too. So for students that don't have specific technology, they can still access this at home right from a phone to read. You can't edit on a phone, but you can still read books on a phone. There's also the read to me.
Oh, sorry, Catherine. The other thing I was thinking about here too is that it doesn't have to be read alouds for just language arts and for books. I'm thinking read alouds for math textbooks or social studies. So you can read aloud, but then also add little audio hotspots or information at the bottom to extend the learning of math. So if you're not sure how to solve this problem, here's a video showing you how to do it. It's a great way to really enhance that learning and make learning accessible to everybody.
And you'll realize too, especially if you do the Getting Started webinar, we've heard this time and time again from teachers and districts, that it's all embedded right into Book Creator. So your students don't have to go find a video platform, or even the teacher. They don't have to do this. They can if they want, and they can put it, you can embed it all in Book Creator. But if you want to keep it simple, it's all right there and ready. So you can just run with it, which is nice and simple. So everything she's completed right here was right from Book Creator, other than the pictures that I guess, yeah, from her computer, but she was able to put those in right from Book Creator. But there's nothing else you have to really complete elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's an elementary example. You can definitely see how it could be used for middle school or high school. Dig into a specific page on a novel, a quote, an article, all of the above. You could change that for that grade level too. And this example, I love sharing this example of weekly lessons, because this is taken from a first grade teacher, and her students only had one other example before her classroom was pushed to remote learning and they went on lockdown. And I like sharing that with you because her students are still able to do this. Now, it took her probably about a week to get them set up, and just make sure they were ready to go for Book Creator, but she did that all virtually, and they were first grade students. Then what she decided to do was each week they were going to have a theme, and she was going to put all of the specific activities they would be doing, let's say in the classroom, maybe during center time or independent work time, and she put them all into Book Creator. Some pages, actually every page is mostly interactive, so the kids can drag and drop, and she's taking information that they'd already be doing in class, and she's just putting it right into Book Creator. Then what the students will do, I would look at this almost as a template. So she made this, she's going to share that book with those students. They make a copy of it for their own, and then they can just work away. And you can see the worksheets right there. They can write right on top of it, so forth. They have all the questions. They could even record themselves. So you could have little speech bubbles for those reading passages for them to speak about it back. You could do so many different ways. And then what we showed you earlier about providing feedback, is that while they're doing this, it's saving automatically right onto your teacher dashboard. So the students don't have to save it or alert you when it's done. You could go into their work at any time and it saves automatically. So what she would do is she'd go into their weekly books as they're going through this, and she'd leave comments, she'd leave feedback. She'd look at which students were actually in the book right then and there to give them that real-time feedback right then and there. So the students get motivated and they're like, oh, my teacher is working alongside me right now. It went over great in her classroom, and you can imagine what you could do for upper grades too with this. But it's an easy way. You send out one book a week, all of that independent learning's there. She was doing Zoom meetings for the lessons, and then they were able to exit all nice and neat in one book. And the parents loved it too, because they knew they had one book and that was what they needed to complete. Otherwise, they went on Zoom, they did their normal lessons with the teacher, but it was really simple and specific for those parents, so they loved it. Other examples, graphic novels, turning anything into a graphic novel, a comic. This is an example. This isn't a graphic novel or comic, but I just wanted to throw that out there too. This is a middle school example, and I like to show this because it's so simple. It's a collaborative book. Each student created a poem about our changing world in 2020 and what it's like for them. So they each had a page, they contributed their poem. I'm sure they did a draft elsewhere and then put their final draft right here. But it's a great way to do collaboration, very easy and simply. So I would start simple, look, one background, one font, or maybe even just let the kids pick the font, so forth. But it's simple. And now you have that link to share on a classroom page, a district website, your school website, and just showcase that student learning and showing that they have a voice to share about their personal experience from their point of view during this time. Another thing, social emotional learning is so important right now, especially as going into the upcoming school year. I've heard districts really focusing on that for like the first 2 weeks. Everyone's going to need that right now, regardless, even if you weren't on remote learning. But that is a great way to create some type of journal template to have them share how they're feeling, just do daily check-ins and really reflect on this time. This is a great example of digital portfolios that John's going to dig into, but this is a perfect example of how you could create a yearbook or a digital portfolio for any subject throughout the year.
So this was a group of seniors from a high school, and they put together this wonderful yearbook slash journal compilation, I guess is a good way to put it. So every student got their own page, and they were able to add their own photos, sharing important events that happened to them throughout the year, which I thought was really cool. So it's very personalized. But then they were also able to embed Google Documents. And so they embedded their Google Documents in here where they would share their best writing from the year. So I thought it was really cool. But what I really like about it is the variety of the way these pages look, right? So they're not all the same. We've got lots of pictures and some journals, little less pictures, but some journals. And then we've got some that are even a little bit different, right? So we've got this one, which are just 3 journals, very highlighted, black and white photos. We've got students that put videos in there. So it's just a really cool way to make a yearbook slash digital portfolio of your learning throughout the year. All right. So, and speaking of yearbook, it just went live. We actually do have a brand new yearbook template. So,
Put it in the
Catherine,
chat.
we're gonna have to add that to our template library here soon. So we just created a very, very cool yearbook template. It is now live, so you can get a copy of that and put it into your own library. All right. So anyway,
I'll put it into our template library as we go through it too.
awesome. So from here, I did want to talk a little bit about templates here because we've said it a few times, enough times that we need to probably share with you what we're talking about. So a template is something very simple. All right. And I think sometimes when teachers hear the word templates, we get a little freaked out because it sounds like something crazy and like a lot of work and stuff like that. And so I want to share with you some of our templates. We do have a template library. There is a code to join this library. It will be in the book that we share with you. Catherine's probably already put it into the chat window. But what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to join this template library that we made. Now, this is nothing official, right? I mean, I guess it is official because we work for Book Creator and we put it in there. But it's not like there's nothing crazy great in here that we created, right? But what's nice about this is that not only can you go into this library and take our templates and use our templates, you can also make your own and put those into our library so that we can share those with other people. So for me, it all started with this one. And this was just a very simple 1-page template. I went to, whenever I go to conferences, I make a book called The People of. And so the people of OETC, the people of FETC, the people of ICE, whatever. And so what's nice about this is just a 1-page template. And when somebody joins my book that we have on turned on for collaboration, they're able to click inside these panels, inside the text boxes, and they're able to answer these questions on their own. All right. So you can do something very similar with your students. And the way you would do that is you would make the template. All right. So 1 page, 2 page, 100 pages, totally up to you. Make that template. And when your students join your library, they're going to click this icon at the bottom left. It looks like books. Click on that and say copy book. Now, the key here is that when they copy your book, they're going to put it into the same library that they are currently working in. All right. You don't want them to put it in a different library. You want them to put it in your library. So when they click on that, it makes an exact copy that that student can edit. Nobody else can edit it, but that student can. The same process is going to hold true for you guys when you join our template library and you want to take one of our templates. You're going to click the icon down here at the bottom left, click copy. Now, the only difference is you're not going to put it into this library. You're going to put it into one of your own libraries, and then you'll have your own copy that you can work from. So that's one that I've done. This is one that Catherine did. It's a COVID-19 journal type book where they, what did you see in the news today? 3 things you can control, 3 things you can't control. All right, so that's a really good one. We have our big book creator activity book, 60 some odd activities for students to do and have fun with. We've seen some of these are not template books. Quarantine book, quarantine journal, right? That is good. We have a makerspace book, a maker lab book, alphabet book, right? And then our brand new one that just came out today. I'll even open it so you guys can see this. This is our yearbook template. And so what's really pretty cool here says My School Yearbook 2020, and then add some emojis, right? It gives you some little directions, and then when you click the arrow, dear students, and sign it teacher, you can put your own photo in there. You can add your own audio button. So it's just a really cool way to give some ideas for you to send messages to your students in kind of a yearbook format. All right, and then we've got some more, again, class photos, individual student photos. So these are really cool, right? And then it says, again, duplicate this page to add more students. So if that's not enough, you click up here where it says pages, you click the little 3 dots and you say copy, and it makes an exact copy of that page like so. And now you have more images that you can add for your students. So anyway, this is what templates are all about. All right, it's just very simple. You can make it as simple or as complex as you want, but it doesn't have to be anything too strenuous. You just make some boxes that might be empty that you want your students to answer, or some pictures you want them to put in, or something as a learning tool.
We had a quick question that popped in, and I'm so excited about the yearbook. I think you all will love that, and you can definitely, he just showed you how you can cater that to your students, or if you want to change, etc. I had a great question just come in. Can these books be printed? Yes, I did that in my 3rd grade classroom. Actually, when I used Book Creator, we used it for Writers Workshop, and at the end of the year, they were able to select one of their final drafts that are final published books, and that we sent that to a publishing company. You cannot get these published directly, or you cannot publish them directly in Book Creator. You will have to contact that publishing company to do that. But you can also print them directly from Book Creator, and they will come, I believe it's on a page, correct, John?
Yeah,
so you could actually...
every page is its own page. It downloads it as a PDF, and then you can take that PDF and send it somewhere else if you're interested. I've had a few ambitious schools that will take the PDF, manipulate it so that it's perfect the way they want it, and then they'll send it to their like high school print shop. But really, like Catherine said, we do not publish any hardbound books. But I'm sure there are companies out there that could take that PDF and turn it into a hardbound book. We just do not do that right now.
They turn out great too. If you do it, they've turned out beautifully. So that's an option. But I've also had schools that print it and then they actually have the students, excuse me, cut them out and then manipulate it into a book, which is a great way to show them those features too. So it's a great activity, or a center activity, so forth. And then another question that was on there was, can you drop this link onto a Brightspace or a Dropbox? Once you've had that published link, you can share that anywhere. So you can put it anywhere, and then when the students click on it, they can read that book, or the students can put that on anything, and then you could read that book too. Good questions.
And in our read to me mode, so when you do send this book online and it's published, and this may not work because they didn't publish it. Yeah, when it's published and you click the read to me mode under the share button, one of the options is to embed the book on a website. So if whatever website you're using, or whatever tool you're using, if it does have an embed code feature, you can embed the book directly in there. All right, this is our favorite time of the chat. We are running out of time here, but what are some ideas that you have for using Book Creator in the classroom? So if you can, in the chat window, just start typing in some ideas, and we will go ahead and, excuse me, and add those to our book. And again, I do know that we are running a little bit out of time here, so I'm going to, as you guys are putting ideas into the chat window, recipes is a great idea. Yes, having recipe books is really fantastic. I've heard that idea a couple times, and I think it's great. But as we're putting these ideas into our book, your ideas into our book, I do want to mention that we do have page after page after page of samples of other ideas that teachers came up with during our webinars. All right, so recipes, daily journals. Teresa, music students, practice logs. Say what you practiced and how long. And you could video or audio record your performance. Absolutely. I think that's fantastic. I did work with a teacher last year, specifically a choir director, who used Book Creator for performance journals, and it was really amazing. Daily emotions, absolutely. Talk about all of your emotions that are happening right now. So even in just the first few examples that we've gotten there of ways to use Book Creator, my mind is blown, right? You've got some great thoughts and ideas already. And so we are going to stick around here for a few more minutes to continue answering questions in the chat window. Please keep putting your ideas in there about how you could use Book Creator. But I want to encourage you to share your ideas, because a lot of times teachers, we don't share our ideas. We find something that works in our classroom and we kind of hold on to it, right? Because we don't think that other people are going to really enjoy our idea. And it couldn't be further from the truth. We all have something to share. And I like this. It kind of reminds me of the quote, "One man's trash is another man's treasure," where you might not think that what you have to share is all that important. But once you do share it, somebody else might think that's just a little gold nugget that they're going to take and they're going to love and they're going to use. And it's going to be something totally earth shattering to them. So I highly recommend sharing, whether it's social media or email or newsletters or whatever, face to face. Talk about what you're doing, share with others. All right. And again, we're going to take a little bit of time here to answer some of your questions if you have any on your way out. But if not, I just want to thank everybody for being here on behalf of Catherine, our school partnerships team, bookcreator_Cat, Catherine at bookcreator.com. I'm John Smith, Teacher Success Manager at the iPod Teacher on Twitter, and John Smith at bookcreator.com. So again, thank you, Teresa. Thank you, everyone, for being here. If you have had your fill this morning, you are free to go. If you have questions, please stick around. We will answer those questions now, live. So if you have any, let us know. Stella from YouTube, lesson plans, e-portfolios, storyboards, news, anything that has a message with media and an engaged audience to share with. And I love that, Stella. Absolutely 100% spot on that one. And I love how she just kind of really summed up Book Creator in a quick sentence, right? Anything that you want to use that has media and an engaged audience will make a difference, right? Book Creator is very powerful. It can be used for just about everything. Matter of fact, I haven't found one thing yet that I haven't been able to use Book Creator for. I kind of get challenged. I challenge myself to think about that, really. How would the bus garage use Book Creator, right? And I think they could. It could be a training manual, right? So I'm fascinated with the different ways that we can use Book Creator. All right, so thank you, Stella, for that. Thank you, everyone, for the great comments and for being here. We certainly appreciate that. And we got 9 of you still hanging around. Don't want to get rid of our faces, and that's fine. You can stick around for about 2 more minutes, because then I'm shutting down, and I'm going to go get some coffee. Actually, I don't drink coffee, so I'll just probably go get some more water. But anyway, so what other thoughts do you have, or if you have questions, please let us know, and we will answer those. You got 2 minutes on the clock before we shut it down. Nobody has any questions today? Okay, I'm gonna let that one out. Excuse me. All right, 1 minute. 1 minute on the clock, everybody.
About reading it. Teresa, are you talking about the once it's published and you post the link elsewhere? I presume no account for Book Creator is needed to open and read it. Yes. So I answered it individually. It just says correct. You are correct. You do not need an account to Book Creator to read it.
And Annie, I think this is Annie. Yes, there is a access code to get to those templates. Catherine will send a follow-up email in a little while, and that follow-up email will have all that information that you need to get to those templates.
I'll stick it in the chat real quick too. It's right there, but just like you said, I'm going to send it right after.
And again, just remember, do not put your own personal books inside that template library unless it's a template that you want shared. We've had a couple instances where people will put their own books in our library. And just don't do that because we'll delete them unless it's a template. All right, everybody, it is 7 o'clock. So thank you again for being here today. We appreciate it. We are going to go ahead and sign off. So I'm going to stop sharing here. I am going to stop sending this to YouTube. So bye-bye to my YouTube peeps. And
Hi,
thank you, everybody,
everyone.
again for being here. Have a great day. Be safe out there. Happy bookmaking. Bye-bye.
Bye.